DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence, put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is, where does Dre Baldwin get the energy? This is a question that was asked to me by Jen, who is a member of our university, and maybe she is listening. She asked me this question recently, and I answered her on the spot when she asked me the question. But thinking more about the answer, I thought this would be good material for an episode of this show, because I am sure there may be others of you who have a similar question, and I'm sure there are even more than that of you who have a similar question for how you can have more energy just yourself in your everyday life and in the things that you are doing. Not so much necessarily about me, but energy just for yourself and doing what you're doing, because everything I'm going to tell you here today can apply to you the same way that it does apply to me. So what I'm going to share here today are, of course, the answers to the question where I get the energy, but more importantly, as I just said, things that you could possibly apply to yourself as well to help you have more energy for whatever you're doing and wherever you're going, because energy is 85% of the job in life. Is one of our 5 forms of investment. We have time, money, attention, focus, and then energy. You need all 5 of these elements to be successful at what you do. And energy is, again, scientifically is what puts you in position to do work, which mechanically means to be able to have some impact physically on an object or even mentally on a thing. So you must have energy. So let's talk about how I have more energy and how you at the same time can have more energy yourself. Point number 1, topic once again is, where does Dre Baldwin get the energy? Number 1, I do things that I like and enjoy. This is one reason that I have energy. The things that I do are things I actually like doing. When I find myself doing stuff that I don't really like doing, I usually know it's something I don't like doing, and I may be doing it because it's a necessary evil, something that I have to handle. So for example, I just got finished putting together a sales funnel and a new version of some software that I'm using. This book is called The Sales Discipline System. By the time you all hear this episode, that book will already be out. It's actually not out as of the day that I'm recording this, but by the time you all hear this, the book is already out. You can get it by going to salesdisciplinebook.com. The book's free, just cover the shipping. And the only reason I'm working on that sales funnel, because I told myself I wasn't building any more sales funnels, but I did this one because I was moving the funneling system from the old version of the software I was using to a new version of the software. And there's a couple tweaks that needed to be made to it to make sure it looked right. And I want to make sure I know how to do it one time, so then I can hire other people. And then when they mess up, I know exactly where they messed up and how to correct them. That's the only reason that I do it. But I don't really enjoy doing that because it's way too many clicks at a button and looking at stuff on the screen. That kind of work puts me to sleep. Whereas doing something like what I'm doing right now, talking to you all, whether in a microphone or in a camera or a combination of both, this gives me energy and it feels good and I enjoy it. And I know that I'm giving positive things that are very useful to the audience that is consuming it. That's why I enjoy doing this more than I enjoy doing something like building a sales funnel or doing some type of data entry. Those kind of things I don't like doing, even though they need to be done. So I either find a person or a system that can do those things instead of me doing it after I know how to do it. Learning how to do it one time is fine, but doing it over and over and over again, not my thing. So in short, what I mean with this first point is I structure my life such as I'm doing things that I actually like doing. Usually I'm good at them and I enjoy them. Usually if you like something and you enjoy it, you're probably good at it, or you're on your way to being good at it. And I'm always looking forward to the next thing, because the next thing that I'm doing is going to be something else that I like doing, just like the thing that I just got finished doing. So if you can set your day up to do things that you enjoy, and are good at, usually your energy is going to be pretty high. Even if you didn't get a lot of sleep, even if your dieting habits are not that great, you put a bunch of junk in your body, your energy may stay up as long as you're doing things that, again, check those 3 boxes. Again, enjoy, and you're good at it. So this is an underrated and underappreciated aspect of energy, actually doing things that are fun, enjoyable, and rewarding for you. It sounds very trite as I'm saying it, but if you think about it, ask yourself, over the course of your day, at least with your discretionary time where you have control over the schedule, it could be at work, depending on your work situation, especially for those of you who are entrepreneurs, and it could be outside of work, those of you who are employed. But with your discretionary time, are you doing things that you actually enjoy? Again, it seems obvious, but are you actually doing it? If that's the way you feel about your activities, that you like them, you enjoy them, they're rewarding to you, you'll notice that your energy miraculously increases when you're doing these things. That's just how it works. It also leads to anticipation, which is what? A positive energy that you feel before you do something. So if you know you're about to go do something fun, you feel excited while you're on the way to doing it. Whereas if you know you're about to do something that you hate, then your energy goes down and you haven't even gotten to do anything yet. So if you're always positively anticipating what's coming next in your life on a day-to-day basis and a task-by-task basis, your energy will generally be pretty high all the time. High relative to, let's just say, the average person who's just lethargic and they're not really down but not really up about anything. They're kind of just in the middle. So I guess we could call this lifestyle design. This is a form of lifestyle design, not the way that many people think of it, but this is a part of lifestyle design. What many people mean when they say the actual term lifestyle design means you design your work situation to fit around the type of lifestyle that you would want to live. So if you want to live as a digital nomad and you want to travel all around the world and not have a home address and not have a car, you just want to backpack your way through 20 countries, then you design a business that allows you to work in that way so you can live the lifestyle you want and the work fits the lifestyle. Whereas the other way around it is that your lifestyle fits your work, which is how many people operate. And it doesn't make you bad or good, right or wrong to do either one. What I'm talking about here is a sub point of lifestyle design such that I set my life up, my business life, my work life, because I spend a lot of time doing my business and my work around doing things that I actually enjoy, offloading things that need to be done but I do not enjoy or I don't like or I'm not good at or are not rewarding for me. And that way, most of the time I'm doing things that I enjoy, which is why my energy is always up, I would say higher than the average person. So again, you could call this a form of lifestyle design. So when you design your life around doing things you enjoy, or at least framing them in such a way that you can find a way to enjoy them, that will naturally increase your energy. And that increased energy radiates outwardly to where other people can feel it coming from you as well. So many of you have not met me in person or dealt with me in person. Your experience of me is through maybe the things that you read that I write in my emails or the things you hear on the show or maybe what you see if you're watching this on video. And you can feel my energy just through the material that I create. And being I'm creating this material on a consistent daily basis, it makes sense that someone would ask this question. And as a general rule, ladies and gentlemen, when you have positive energy about what you're doing, the people with whom or for whom you do it will also feel positively. And that usually leads to better results for everyone. So if you're a physical therapist and you show up with positive energy for your job, your clients are going to get better results just because you feel positive than if you didn't feel positive showing up to the facility that particular day. I heard someone say, a person who worked on a farm. As a matter of fact, I'm just finishing up listening to one of my favorite books that I listen to often is called The Secrets of Closing the Sale by Zig Ziglar. It's actually, the audiobook is 12 hours long. So it's basically a whole bunch of sales trainings that Zig did over the years and they compiled them all into one big audiobook. And one of the things that Zig talks about when he's talking to his audiences, and Zig was speaking back in the 70s, 80s, into the 90s and early 2000s, he comes from a farm. And he talked about growing up on a farm that cows do not give milk. And he says that if the person who deals with the cow is mean to the cow and nasty to the cow can feel your energy, that you don't like the cow or you don't like doing what you're doing. And the cow will not either doesn't give as much milk or the quality of the milk that the cow gives is so toxic that you can't even drink it and you can't even sell it and you got to throw the milk out. But if you're very nice and pleasing and friendly with the cow, then the cow will be more pleasing and friendly to you, which means the cow will give more milk and the milk will taste better and the milk will be of higher quality so you can sell it to more people. So this energy radiates into everything and everyone you deal with, even animals who can't talk. So point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is where does Dre Baldwin get the energy? Number 2, energy is a skill. It is not a talent. Energy is a skill. It is not a talent. I talked about this in episode number, did I do an episode number? Maybe I didn't do an episode number. I thought I had, but I'll talk about it here. Energy is not something that some people have and other people do not have. Anyone can develop more or have less energy depending on how you prepare yourself for your situation. Because remember, energy is neither created nor destroyed. Energy simply changes forms, also known as transmutation, and it moves from one object to another. So energy, having energy, gathering and using energy is a skill that can be developed by any human being. It is not some natural talent that some people are born with energy and some people are not. Again, that goes against the laws of science. So energy is not something one person has, another person doesn't. Well, it technically is, but it's not like fundamentally as a human, you have energy and another person does not. If a person doesn't have energy, they're dead. All right. A person with zero energy is dead. So energy is not something that, again, it just is bestowed upon certain people. Anyone can have more or less depending on how you prepare yourself and how you handle your situation. Mental energy, for example, is a skill that is mostly derived from what I said in point number 1. When you're looking forward to what you're doing, you're excited about what you're doing, you feel good about what you're doing, and you believe what you're doing is going to have a positive impact on you, others, and the wider world in some combination of the three, then you're probably going to have more mental energy. Doing things that you like and enjoy. Also, your mental conditioning, which is the internal conversation you're having with yourself all the time about your current situation. And you don't have to be in a quote unquote good situation to have a positive internal conversation in your head. It's just a matter of how you choose to frame the situation in front of you. Framing is the key, because you could be in a situation that the average person would look at and say, this is not that great of a situation. But because you're framing it in a certain way, you can still find positive in the circumstance, even though the circumstance is not very much to your liking. Let's just put it that way. And let me see where I talked about framing. I talked about framing in conversations in episode number 2400 and 2401. And in those two episodes, I was talking more about conversations that you have with other people. But the conversation that you have with yourself, you also need to frame that too. Because again, maybe you're expecting it to be a bright sunny day and you're going to do some outdoor activities. You wake up and it's thunderstorming outside and it's going to rain all day according to the weather. Well, that messed up your plans. Now, depending on how you frame that can make it for a bad day or can make it for a good day, depending on the story you decide to tell yourself about the circumstance in front of you. Because you can't always control circumstances, but you can always control what's going on in your own head. And that's what mental conditioning is about, which is the ongoing conversation you are having in your own head at all times. So what story are you telling yourself? What are you focusing on? How are you framing the things that are happening to, for, or around you? And the answers to these questions play a huge role in how you consistently think. And how you consistently think leads to your mental energy or your mental lethargy, was a lack of energy. Especially if you are consistently feeding yourself the answers to the same questions. So the quality of the questions determine the quality of the answers. Any of you who has ever watched Law and Order, or you are actually an attorney, I know I have some attorneys who listen to the show, you understand the quality of the question is huge when it comes to the kind of answers that you get. So if you ask crappy questions, you're going to get crappy answers. What kind of questions are you asking yourself every day? I'm asking that to you. And what many people do is these questions are by default, things that you never actually consciously thought about. The good news is, and I'm bringing it to you right now, is that you can get conscious and intentional about the kind of questions you're asking yourself, and you can rig the questions to cause you to have no choice but to give positive answers. Believe that. Imagine that. Imagine that. And you can just rig the questions so that no matter what answer you give is a positive answer. It's going to lead to more positive energy. And it's probably going to lead to more positive behavior and positive outcomes for you. So if you're consistently feeding yourself quality questions, again, you're feeding yourself questions all the time, whether you do it on purpose or not. I suggest you start doing it on purpose. Physical energy, on the other hand, is about what you put in your body, how you are moving, and how you are using your body. All of you listening to this right now, what is your posture right now? Are you sitting up straight? Are your shoulders slumped? Are you developing more and more text neck, which is your neck being craned forward slightly, and not aligned with your shoulders, your lower back, or your hips or your heels, simply because you're always craning your head forward to look down at your phone or to look down at a computer screen. Even though I use phones and computer screens all day, I'm always very conscious of my posture so that when I'm not on the phone or computer screen, even when I am, I check my posture. I consciously check my posture and make sure I'm sitting up straight, standing up straight, and walking upright. Many of you, again, this contributes to your physical energy. If you're slumping, it's easier to feel as if you have no energy than when you're standing up straight. When you're standing up straight, you're projecting energy, you're feeling energy, your body's able to get more oxygen because you're upright so your lungs can take in more air. This contributes to your physical energy. Physical energy, again, what you put in your body, how you're moving, how you're using your body. Are you exercising on a regular basis? Are you getting sunlight on a regular basis? Are you drinking water? Are you eating food that gives you energy? All of these things will help with your physical energy, which every one of you who is listening to, all of you know these things that I just said very well. Things that I just mentioned: exercise, getting sunlight, drinking water, eating food that gives you energy. Is that news to anybody who's listening to this? That those will help with your energy? That's not news to any one of you. All of you understand this inherently. You may not be consciously thinking about it, and you may be kind of embarrassed about your answers to those questions. But It's not that you didn't know about it. Now that you are more conscious about it, the question is, what are you going to do about it? And again, the point is you need to be conscious and intentional about these things. And what makes energy a skill, ladies and gentlemen, as I've explained to you so far here today, is that with practice and consistency, you can position yourself to have as much energy as you want. That's what makes it a skill, is that it's a practiced ability. So you just think about it and you can get better and better and better at it. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is where does Dre Baldwin get the energy? Number 3, momentum is a self-serving mechanism. We just talked about momentum in the last episode. I told you nobody chases after a parked vehicle. In physics, momentum is defined as the movement of an object in terms of its mass and velocity. In other words, how heavy or substantial something is multiplied by how quickly that thing is moving. So if Shaquille O'Neal, who's 7 feet tall and 300 something pounds, is running at full speed, assuming that he's in great shape. When he's in great shape running at full speed, it's very hard to stop him and stop his forward movement because his greater than usual weight creates a ton of momentum when he's running at full speed compared to, say, mini me running at full speed, because he doesn't have as much mass, even though he may have a little bit more speed. My point here is continually doing things that you like and enjoy, doing things to keep your energy up, and assuming both of those things are leading to more and more positive results for you and for others, that becomes an energy in and of itself. That energy is known as momentum. All right, the law of inertia says an object in motion tends to remain in motion, or an object not in motion tends to remain not in motion until or unless acted upon by an outside force. The object in motion is known as momentum. The object not in motion is known as stagnation. All of you are familiar with those terms, even if you're not familiar with the law of inertia. I did an entire episode, I believe, on inertia in episode number 2466 for your reference. When you're doing the right things, the inertia starts working in your favor. Inertia known as momentum. Most of the time, when you are, actually, let me back up. You're doing things you like and enjoy, you're excited about them, and it's producing a positive result. You don't have to think about, how do I keep my energy up? Now, if you've never done these things, now you need to constantly think about this for long enough until it becomes a habit. Personally, I don't think about how to keep my energy up. It just stays up because of how I operate. And I'm telling you right now how I operate. Now, I'm human. So there are times when my energy may be lower. All right, if I only get 3 hours of sleep, or I keep getting interrupted in the middle of the night by a restless child, then yes, my energy will be lower that day than it is on a day when I get a full night of sleep. But in those times, I need to have tools in place to help get my energy back to where I need to be so I can begin to manufacture more momentum. So I need the skill to be able to do something when things don't go exactly, they don't naturally fall in place in a way that makes it easy for me. I need a way to manufacture it. You can manufacture energy when you need it. You can manufacture momentum when it's necessary. I remember I traveled to Dallas. I think this was 2023. I traveled to Dallas for a conference, and I came back from Dallas to Miami on a Friday night. My flight landed at like 11 o'clock. I didn't get home till like 12 midnight, and I had a 10K race to run in the very next morning. Saturday morning, it was in Coconut Grove, and the 10K race started at like 6 o'clock. It's like 6 o'clock start time. And long story short, I had to get up at like 4 in the morning in order to be there in time for the race. I got 4 hours of sleep, but because of the fact that it was a race, because I had trained for it, because I knew I was in a unique situation having gotten off that plane last night and nobody else gave a damn when it came to the race, I was able to, in my own mind, manufacture a frame and a focus and a story for myself that, yes, I only got 4 hours of sleep, but I'm still going to go out here and dominate, and I'll get sleep later. I went out there and did what I need to do, and I won that race. And the medal is on the wall in my office right now. I'm looking at it. So you have to have tools to manufacture the energy when you need it. And it starts with the way that you think. Starts with the way that you think. How do I not let this be an excuse for me not giving my best effort today? I wrote a whole book about this called The Third Day. Another book about it called The Mirror of Motivation. You can get those books at thirddaybook.com and mirrorofmotivation.com, respectively. So you just had to have the tools in place. And again, when you have the tools in place, you can easily just push a button and the tool starts doing its job. That is a skill. That's not a talent. That's a skill. This is something that you can install on purpose. This is where my bulletproof mindset, 30 days of discipline frameworks come into play. And I have these available to anyone who's a member of Work on Your Game University. This leads to mental conditioning that positions you to get your energy and momentum up anytime you happen to lose them, because it happens to everyone from time to time. Again, nobody is a robot out here. We all have circumstances and things we go through that may drain our energy or cause our energy to be lower. It's how you respond in that moment that makes a difference, not whether it happens or it doesn't happen, because it happens to everybody, including myself. All that said, everybody, let's recap today's class, which is where does Dre Baldwin get the energy? Thank you, Jen, for asking the question. Here's the answer. Number one, I do things that I like and enjoy, which means I am always looking forward to the next thing. Simple concept that many people overlook. Number two, energy is a skill. It is not a talent. That means it is a practiced ability, and anyone can get better at having energy if you just practice the ability of having energy, which starts with how you think, and then it also translates into what you are physically doing or not doing. And number three, momentum is self-serving, meaning once you start having momentum, as long as you don't do anything to slow it down, it will keep going on its own. So those of you who have ever been in a high energy state, you should ask yourself, what led to me being in this high energy state, and how can I structure my life such that I can get into this state on a consistent basis? And if you can bottle that up and figure out how to do it over and over and over again, strategically and systematically, then you won't have to think about how to keep your energy up, because your energy will naturally be up, and it becomes your normal mode of operation, to where another person may look at you and wonder, how do you have all this energy? And you are looking at yourself saying, I never even thought about it. So that's how you do it. All that said, everybody, workonyourgameuniversity.com. If you would like to work with me directly, have me as your direct coach when it comes to getting your mindset in the right place, then putting a game plan in action, putting a game plan in place so you know how to take action, systematizing what's in the game plan once it works perfectly, and then making sure everything and everyone are being held accountable to do their job so that you're creating consistent and duplicatable results. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all